Hello, hope you're doing well, and welcome to my Smite 2 Bellona guide. Bellona, the goddess of war, is a relentless force on the battlefield and an absolute nightmare to escape from. Her dynamic playstyle allows her to adapt to any fight by utilizing different weapons, each offering unique effects and disadvantages. And today, I'll be teaching you absolutely everything you need to know about this fiercely powerful god. Bellona enters the battleground boasting high damage and crowd control alongside high mobility. Bellona's ability to swap between weapons gives her unparalleled versatility, allowing her to counter specific enemies, control fights, and bully opponents in lane. Whether you're dismantling your enemies in solo lane or disarming your foes in the jungle, Bellona's relentless aggression and adaptability make her a powerhouse in the right hands. Get ready to outlast, outdamage, and outfight your enemies with this unbreakable god. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my future Smite 2 guides, as I'll be covering all of the characters in Smite 2. Also check out my Discord server if you have any questions or want to join a friendly, non-toxic Smite community. Now let's dive into Bellona's abilities. Bellona's passive, Master of War, is a cornerstone of her kit. For every successful basic attack, Bellona gains movement speed and protections, rewarding aggressive play. This passive allows her to stick to her enemies and sustain in prolonged fights. Additionally, you will gain bonus effects depending on what weapon you are using. Sword and Shield will grant additional protections, Hammer grants strength stacks, and Scourge grants attack speed, further proving the point that using the correct weapon in a given situation is imperative to playing Bellona effectively. Her first ability is Shield Bash. Bellona dashes forward, bashing the first enemy god hit with her shield, dealing damage to them and enemies in a cone behind them. Bellona then switches weapons to a Sword and Shield and gains 1 block stack for each enemy god hit. After landing 3 consecutive basic attacks, she will gain an additional block stack. These block stacks block incoming basic attacks while reflecting a portion of the damage in a cone in front of her, making Bellona more durable in close range engagements. Additionally, this ability applies a slow, helping you lock down enemies. Bludgeon is Bellona's second ability, and her highest burst damage tool. She swings her weapon in a circle around her, damaging all enemies and creating a massive follow-up slam. Know that the final slam damage will be increased if more enemies are hit by the initial swing. Bellona then switches weapons to a Battle Hammer that will hit all nearby enemies, making this ability ideal for clearing minion waves or hitting multiple enemies in a teamfight. Her third ability, Scourge, damages all enemies in a line and lets Bellona disarm enemies, preventing them from using auto attacks for a short duration. Bellona switches weapons to a Scourge, gaining longer range and a heal per successful basic attack. This weapon is a direct counter to auto attack dependent enemies, and its extended attack range allows Bellona to poke safely. Use this ability to disable enemy damage dealers or secure kills from a distance. And finally, Bellona's ultimate is Eagle's Rally. Bellona leaps through the air, planting a flag on the ground, dealing massive damage and stunning all enemies in her direct landing area. This flag will remain on the battlefield for a short duration, granting you and allies in the large area of effect increased strength, intelligence, and protections. This ability is perfect for initiating teamfights, chasing down escaping enemies, or turning the tide of a close battle. Now that you know what Bellona's abilities do, let's talk about how you will be using them effectively in battle. With Bellona, ability order is more important than rigid combos. Using the right ability to end with the weapon that you want for the situation is key. Auto attacks before and after in between abilities are crucial to maximize damage and capitalize on her weapon effects. Here are 2 examples of combos to help you get started. The first of which is designed from engaging from range or closing the gap on escaping enemies. Begin with Eagle's Rally to close the distance and stun your target. Follow up with Scourge to disarm the enemy and stop their basic attack damage. Auto attack and capitalize on Scourge's extended range. Activate Shield Bash to slow the enemy and gain a block stack with 3 auto attacks. Finish with Bludgeon to deal massive damage if the target is out of melee range. The second combo will assume that you're already in melee range. Open with Scourge to disarm and reduce incoming damage, weave auto attacks immediately after for consistent damage, and use Shield Bash to slow and gain block stacks after 3 auto attacks. Cast Bludgeon to deal burst damage when the target moves out of auto attack range. If the target is still alive, use Eagle's Rally to secure the kill or disrupt nearby enemies. With Bellona, adaptability is key. Use your abilities based on the situation to ensure you're using the weapon form that best counters your enemy. Mastering her weapon transitions will make you a true force on the battlefield. If you want to see Bellona's combos in action, check out my Bellona gameplay for an in-depth look at playing Bellona in the solo lane. Now that you know how to play Bellona, let's talk about where you will be playing her. Bellona is most effective in certain roles. Bellona thrives in the solo lane with her ability to bully enemies, sustain in fights, and adapt her weapons to the matchup. She's excellent at controlling the pace of the lane and dominating 1v1 engagements. In the jungle, Bellona's versatility makes her a strong pick. Her high CC, burst damage, and mobility allow her to gank effectively, while her 3 damaging abilities make clearing jungle camps a breeze. While picking Bellona in support is not ideal, she can function as a support due to her high crowd control and ability to peel for allies with Scourge and Eagle's Rally. As for ADC and mid lane, Bellona struggles in these roles due to her lack of traditional range damage and limited scaling compared to standard picks in these lanes, so stick to solo lane and jungle for best results. And finally, let's talk about the builds. I can't give you an exact build for Bellona as items in Smite 2 often go through changes, but I can tell you which stats to focus on and suggest some core items based on the role you're playing. Bellona's solo lane build focuses on attack speed and protections to dominate early traits. Start with Death Stole and Berserker Shield for sustain and damage. Next, building hybrid items like Eye of the Storm, Shifter Shield, and Void Shield provide both strength and defenses. For heavier protections, items like Shogun's Kusari, Pharaoh's Curse, and Height of the Nemean Lion add tankiness and utility while maintaining her aggressive playstyle. In the jungle, you can focus on either an ability-based or auto-attack build. For auto-attack, focus on strength and attack speed, starting with core items that will boost your early game like Golden Dagger for jungle clear or Dagger of Frenzy for damage and attack speed. Next, you'll want to focus on strength with items like Hydra's Lament and Serrated Edge, being strong options that include damage boosting bonus effects. Next, decide between Critical Strike Chance focus build or a penetration build. For Critical Strike Chance, Musashi's Dual Sword or Demon Blade are great options, and for penetration, the Executioner or Kin's Blade come to mind. However, avoid mixing Critical Strike Chance and penetration as it may result in unoptimal damage output. For an ability-based build, prioritize strength, cooldown reduction, and penetration. Items like the Crusher, Hydra's Lament, and Serrated Edge provide excellent strength. For cooldown, use Tekokage, the Crusher, and Jotun's Vigor. And finally, for penetration, include items like Oathsworn Spear, Heartseeker, and Titan's Bane. Now that's it for the guide, but I did want to leave you with some tips and tricks before I let you go. First, adaptability is key. Always use the weapon form that counters your opponent or fits the situation. And remember to weave auto attacks in between each of your abilities to maximize your damage output. This a lot of the times will be the differentiating factor between killing your enemy or watching them walk away. Third tip is to make use of Shield Bash. Shield Bash is by far Bellona's most powerful ability, basically making it impossible for any auto attack relying gods to fight you. Disarm to control. Scourge is perfect for shutting down basic attack heavy enemies. Use it wisely to halt their damage output. And finally, don't underestimate the ultimate's impact. Eagle's Rally is a great initiation or counter engage tool. Use its protections and stun to turn fights in your favor. That's it for my Bellona guide. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more Smite 2 content. Don't forget to join my Discord for tips, questions, or just hanging out with other Smite players. And finally, follow me on Twitch to watch live gameplay and ask questions directly. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye!